Test, test.
All right, it is 6:59 PM, so I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order with a reminder, a gentle reminder to silence your electronic devices, please. Also, please note that this meeting, along with the rest of our school board meetings here in Chambers, is audio and video recorded. Mrs. Williams, can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Paul Alexander.
Here.
Ms. Stacy Cyberling.
Here.
Dr. Shantae Jones.
Here.
Ms. Ellen Slobodnik.
Here.
Ms. Rachel Kirkland.
Here.
Madam Chair, Student Rep. Miles Lanier will not be attending this
Okay,
evening.
thank you very much. All right. Mr. Alexander, would you like to lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No.
Seeing none, can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
Move to approve agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seeing no opposition, the motion carries. Moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion on the consent agenda?
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Seeing no opposition, motion carries. All right, on to the superintendent spotlight.
Good evening, Madam Chair. I'd like to ask Dr. Grosser to come on up and share some wonderful, talented, exciting things happening in our school division. So, Dr. Grosser? All right, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. First up tonight in the spotlight, we recently accepted nominations for the annual Washington Post Teacher of the Year Award. We had a teacher nominated from each school as well as a division-level winner. I'd like to take a moment tonight to tell you a little bit more about each one of our nominees. All right, we will start with Cougar Elementary School, and that is Sherry Warren. She could not be with us tonight, but she is watching or will be watching as soon as she is able to. She is a VPI teacher at Cougar Elementary School, a role she has held since 2007. Prior to that, she served as a kindergarten teacher from 1992 to 2007. Mrs. Warren says she became a teacher because of her own personal struggles in school. She struggled with reading, and it wasn't until she was in third grade that her family realized she couldn't read. She credits her childhood babysitter, her fifth grade teacher, and her high school art teacher with building her confidence in both reading and in herself. When she started working for a daycare, she realized what a joy it was watching young children learn and grow. That experience launched her love for early childhood education and her decades-long career in the schools. Children are Sherry's passion and her inspiration. She says, "There is a little of me, my kids, their parents, and the entire Manassas Park community that comes along in every unit we go through in a school year, which makes every school year a different journey." Ann Shaw, our school nurse coordinator, says, "Miss Warren's enthusiasm and love for her students is evident in every encounter she has with a child and the child's family. Throughout her long career as a teacher, her enthusiasm has remained steadfast. She builds trust with each of her students, and her warmth, humor, and ability to embrace each student gives her children hope." So we want to say congratulations to Miss Warren. Okay, next up from Manassas Park Middle School, Leah Nillette. She is a math specialist at Manassas Park Middle School. She's new to this role this year, but she's also served as a math teacher at MPMS since 2015. Mrs. Nillette knew she wanted to be a teacher for as long as she can remember. She remembers sitting in her second grade classroom thinking that being a teacher was the best job in the world. And knowing Miss Nillette, like I can see you thinking that. It's cute. She went back and forth on exactly which subjects she wanted to teach, but she knew any of them would be a good choice because her main motivation for becoming a teacher was simply to help people. When Leah found Manassas Park City Schools at a job fair in Buffalo, New York, she wasn't sure if she should pack up her whole life and move to a different state, but she's so glad that she did. As the math department lead, she has had growing opportunities over the last few years to be a leader amongst her colleagues. But if you ask her students, families, or colleagues, they would tell you her greatest strength is in her relationships with her students. She takes the time to get to know her students' interests both in and out of school. Her colleague Amanda Harding says, "One of Leah's strongest qualities as an educator is her incredible ability to instantly form relationships with students of all backgrounds, abilities, and personalities. She has a unique ability to engage any student in the learning process and help them grow both academically and personally." A parent of one of her former students says, "She is an extremely caring and generous person, which is evident in her daily interactions with students and families. Even during challenging and frustrating times, she never gave up on my son as a person and a student. At the time, he didn't appreciate or understand the value of mastering the material yet, but if you ask him today, he shared how grateful he is for the time she invested in him, not just to learn the material, but to never give up on himself." So congratulations, Ms. Snollett. Okay, from Manassas Park High School, Joy Tran. She's a second-year math teacher who's deeply committed to Manassas Park High School students, community, and staff. Although she's only a second-year teacher, she is truly a veteran leader in our classrooms and throughout our building. In a very short amount of time, she's demonstrated a willingness to go above and beyond in her efforts to help others and support students. She doesn't hesitate to take on any responsibility. She's gracious in devoting her time. She currently serves as a new teacher mentor, a school discipline team member, athletic ticket taker, building supervisor, and sophomore class sponsor. She provides rich instructional support and leadership in our math department, working tirelessly with students and her fellow teachers. In her classroom, Joy has an ability to reach students of all backgrounds and abilities. She makes students feel connected and important, all while delivering high-quality math instruction. Her impact and connection with students is deep and meaningful. Within a few short weeks of her arrival at MPHS, students had began creating a Miss Tran Stan account on Twitter. I know of no higher praise from teenagers than creating a whole social media account dedicated to their favorite teacher. So congratulations. Oh, hang on, we disconnected. I know how to fix this. Are we back?
We see the blue screen.
It's progress.
Well, clearly I didn't do that right. Okay, I'll try one more time, and if I don't get it, I'll just read off of here. I think we're going to need some help.
He comes out with a smile on his face.
We can see this.
All right. I just did the presentation. Okay. And finally tonight, the Manassas Park City Schools Washington Post Teacher of the Year is Sarah Stark from Manassas Park Elementary School. Now tonight, I had asked her principal, Miss Mammon, to come and say a few words about Miss Stark and her abilities in the classroom, but she unfortunately is under the weather, so she sent her statement, so I'm going to go ahead and read this on behalf of her principal. It is difficult to truly measure the positive impact that Sarah Stark has had on our entire school community during her 10 years at Manassas Park Elementary. She's more than just a teacher. She's a leader, an advocate for all students, and a role model for her peers. She inspires others to imagine their success in unique ways and then remains committed to supporting them in reaching those goals. During Ms. Stark's time in Manassas Park, she served first as a fourth grade homeroom teacher and is currently a STEM teacher in one of our dedicated learning labs. She is highly effective in individualizing each student's learning and providing a positive and safe environment where each child believes that they can and will experience success. Mrs. Stark's contributions and impact far exceed her own classroom. In addition to her teaching roles, she has served as a grade-level chairperson, where she effectively led her fourth-grade colleagues in aligning curriculum and assessments and analyzing data to guide instructional decisions. She's currently leading her STEM team in designing curriculum, planning engaging hands-on activities, and developing appropriate assessments to monitor students' critical thinking and problem-solving skills. She's also been an integral member of our school leadership and school improvement teams throughout her time at Manassas Park Elementary. In these roles, she's consistently demonstrated the ability to problem solve, advocate for all students, communicate effectively, and work collaboratively to reach common school goals. Her efforts to connect our school and the Manassas Park community can be seen through her work as a member of the Lead Planning Committee and Multimedia Coordinator for the Literacy Cougar Run and the school webmaster. She is a leader who, through her actions, has earned the respect of her students, colleagues, administrators, and the entire Manassas Park community. Congratulations to Sarah Stepp. And if you guys would like to come on up, we're going to take a picture all together.
You could bring the baby, it's okay. Hold the baby.
Do you want to scooch over? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, let me.
I'm just gonna stand.
I was going to move your.
Sorry. I forgot my chair.
Oh, there you go. No harm in that, no harm in that. All right, everybody, from 1, 2, 3, do another one.
Blue screen.
You know, I followed directions. I did.
Look at that.
Okay.
Every time you do full screen, it goes away. We see it in the editing
Oh,
mode.
really? Okay, well, maybe we'll just stay there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna.
Did it come back?
Oh, there you are.
Okay,
you go.
you know what,
Okay.
we'll just stay there, that's fine, everybody can see that. All right, next up tonight, we would also like to recognize Principals Appreciation Week. The governor issued a proclamation making January 16th through 20th, 2023 as Principals Appreciation Week. Principals serve as educational leaders responsible for managing the policies, regulations, and procedures necessary to ensure a safe, vibrant, and effective learning environment for all students. They work cooperatively to direct, develop, and inspire all members of the school staff and student body to embrace and meet high expectations so that every child reaches their potential. Principals and teachers are entrusted with the opportunity, responsibility, and trust of parents to guide, direct, nurture, mentor, and impart knowledge to our children while they're at school. Virginia School Principals Appreciation Week is an opportunity to recognize the hard work of Virginia school principals and to recognize the importance of principals in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education that opens doors to future opportunities and allows each child to fulfill their dreams. Now, I know this might be a little bit hard for you guys to see, but I'm going to go through and kind of read this. So what I decided to do this year for our principals, last year for our principals, for those of you who are here, I decided to ask the students what they thought about their principals, and we got some pretty cool responses from our students. So this year, I decided, you know what, let's talk to the teachers. As a principal, you serve so many people, right? There's so many people that you reach on a daily basis you don't even know. So I said, you know what, I'm going to reach out to a couple teachers and see what they have to say. So let's start with social media favorite, Mrs. Tickle, Cougar Elementary School. Now, I didn't put your teachers' names on these, just so you know, I took the teachers' names out of there. Mrs. Tickle is one of the most well-rounded principals I've encountered in my long career. Her experience as a third-grade teacher, a special education teacher, and in leadership positions at our middle school and now elementary school means she brings a greater understanding and level of expertise to her job. She's committed to educating the whole child and ensuring the needs of every student are met, and she extends that level of care and commitment to her staff as well. Mrs. Tickle brings excitement to learning and cares about all students in our school. Her energy and enthusiasm is contagious amongst adults and children alike. All right, next up, Manassas Park Elementary, and like I said, Miss Mammon couldn't be here tonight, but I'm sure she'll be listening to see what her teachers had to say. The things that I most appreciate about Mrs. Mammon is how kind and trusting she is. She allows teachers the freedom to teach without the constraints of micromanagement. She's always so kind and warm when anyone talks to her. She is a wonderful person. And I had to put this whole response in I got from this teacher that said, I mean, 1 or 2 sentences about the person who's been the biggest impact on my life professionally? That's not fair. Mrs. Mammon's dedication, positivity, and warm heart have inspired me to thrive and helped me to conquer challenges. Just know Stacy's favorite word is always challenge. Next up at Manassas Park Middle, Kip Tuttle. Kip has hit the ground running at Manassas Park Middle School. She has built a vision for our school and is tirelessly working towards bettering the culture and environment by empowering our teachers. Kip has been an amazing addition to our team at the middle school. Her positivity and her passion for teaching is infectious. She cares deeply about her staff and students, and it shows. I appreciate her willingness to work with our entire staff and listen to multiple perspectives. Manassas Park Middle School has made many positive changes in a short amount of time due to her leadership. We appreciate all she does, and our school would not be the same without her. Okay, and finally, at Manassas Park High School, Charles Forrest. I appreciate that my principal understands that I'm a professional and that I'm knowledgeable in my field and in my teaching, and that they trust me enough to do my job and teach my students. I appreciate that I'm supported when I ask for it, and that my principal understands my passion for my subject and encourages me to grow as a professional through classes and professional experiences I wish to participate in. Mr. Forrest is truly in it for the kids. It's so refreshing to see a building principal not just interact with our students, but genuinely keep up with their lives. He knows which students are going through a rough patch and will need to be supported, but also knows which ones played great in the game last night and deserve to be recognized. So I know that our daily lives of our principals is often very hectic, and we often hear a lot of complaints before we hear positive things, so I hope that this brought a smile to you guys tonight and gave you the needed boost to get through the rest of this week. So thank you to our principals, and congratulations to our Teachers of the Year, and that concludes our spotlight tonight.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I would just wanted to say thank you to all the candidates, the teacher candidates, but also thank you to all of the teachers all of the time, because that's one of the things when I talk to the students, they say is special about Manassas Park is the teachers. They're so kind and caring and genuinely interested in our students and their growth. Also, thank you to the principals. You are our building leaders, and you set the tone and the cadence for the growth of our teachers and also the growth of our students. So thank you very much.
Anyone else?
I think Stacy said it well.
Okay. Just to add, sorry Miss Warren couldn't be here. Miss Warren was the very first teacher my son had, and a couple of other students that I know, and she was a game changer for him in VPI. I look forward to finding the Trans Stan account. It's remarkable to see a second-year teacher being nominated for Washington Post Teacher of the Year. You do a lot, clearly, and it shows, and I look forward to getting to know you in coming years. Truly, it's remarkable to see somebody in the beginning of their career get nominated for Washington Post. Ms. Millette, I've heard wonderful things about math at the middle school, and you have a lovely, lovely daughter. Thank you so much for bringing her. I hope you can remove her from your person later. And Sarah Stark, I've known you the past 10 years from your work at MPE, and I couldn't be more pleased to see you be our nominee to the Washington Post, formerly Agnes Meyer, and our principals. There's not a principal in this division that isn't in it for the kids, whether you ride a bus to get them to summer school or change the culture of a building to make it more engaging for the students, to knowing the kids on their good days and bad. My respect for principals comes because they're kind of the unsung hero. They have to deal with everything that's pushed up from the teachers, pushed down from the central office, and pushed in from the community. It is probably the most stressful job in education, in public education, and we have 4 exceptional ones in this division, and that's definitely worth noting. Oh, it's picture time. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
I was just telling them I was cooking, bringing stuff to them to go over that, so they asked me to have a, like,
Sorry.
Oh, you want me to do that? I can help you out with that.
What are you cooking?
Crostini. Yeah. I'm making long ones so they can see it and then cutting it because I guess you need like 100.
Yeah.
So I'm going, yeah, so it's fun. My kids are enjoying it because they're snacking as I'm making,
Of
right?
course. That's the best part.
All right.
Anyone running? If you need to run, you may. Okay. All right, thank you very much, Dr. Grasser. Public comments. Is there anyone signed up for public comments?
No, Madam Chair.
Anyone here wishing to make public comments? Okay, then I will spare you the thing, we'll move on. All right, moving on to ongoing business. Ongoing business. Updates to policy 11A and 11AB, second reading and action.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Pam Kelso will present this item.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. Before you are policies IIA, instructional materials, and IIAB, supplementary materials, selection and adoption for second read and approval. As discussed at this December board meeting, both policies include updates based on Senate Bill 656, which was enacted by the 2022 Virginia General Assembly that outline requirements for the VDOE to develop and make available policies for ensuring parental notification of any assigned instructional material that includes sexually explicit content. As a reminder, this included information and guidance on ensuring parental notification, directly identifying the specific instructional material and sexually explicit subjects, and permitting the parent of any student to review the instructional material that includes sexually explicit content, and provide as an alternative non-explicit instructional material and related academic activities to any student whose parents so request. In addition, please note in the updated policy that instructional material shall not be designated as sexually explicit solely on the sexual orientation of the characters therein, and the provisions of this shall not be construed as requiring or providing for censoring of books in schools. Please consider the information before you, and I'm recommending approval of both of these policies as written.
Thank you. Any questions for the board?
Just to confirm, lack of response is considered consent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, can we do this as a package, or do we need to do them separately? Okay, fantastic. Can I get a motion on the approval of updates to policy, so IIA and IIAB?
Motion to approve policy IIA and IIB.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to Manassas Park City Schools strategic planning. You get to stay.
Back up here. Good evening again, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm here this evening to provide a brief update on our strategic planning progress. If we can get, there we go. Here are the goals from our current strategic plan. I want to thank all of you and the City Council for your work, input, and participation at the January 7th Joint Board meeting. Ed Elements has synthesized the input gathered from the Joint Board session, and I present to you tonight some of the major themes that emerged as we look forward in the strategic planning process. How did the Joint Board describe MPCS? As you can see, these were the most common words that emerged on January 7th. Small, diverse, caring, culture, loving, welcoming, attentive, and agile. All words that certainly mean a lot in MPCS. What is our big three? Three big elements emerge from your work in the activities on the 7th: community, culture and climate, and challenges that the strategic plan will hopefully help to address. For community, a strong sense of community is an asset and should be nurtured and strengthened. A desire to engage the community in the strategic planning process and long-term implementation to develop deep and meaningful engagement and support for Manassas Park City Schools. Under culture and climate, general sense that MPCS has an inclusive, welcoming, and responsive culture that continues to adapt and evolve to meet the needs of the community in the moment. The culture and climate of MPCS is a selling point for students, families, and staff, and could be used to recruit and retain families and staff. The challenges were certainly up for them: recognition of current and potential challenges, and a sense of urgency to be responsive, iterate on best practices and evolve as needed, and close gaps for students, including achievement and success, access, and staff pay and compensation. Develop programs, policies, and practices that lead to increased parental participation and engagement that ultimately positively impacts student achievement. So lots of good work that was done that day. Current update for where we stand with the various levels of teams and activities. So the project team, which is our executive team, we continue to participate in the bi-weekly planning meetings with Ed Elements to ensure that we're meeting our project milestones. The steering team had a kickoff meeting in December. The team will be reconvening at the end of February to review the data that we're currently collecting during our community engagement. The survey is live, and I'll share that link in a second with everyone again. We'll have focus groups starting next week and continuing throughout the week. There will be elementary and secondary staff groups, student groups at the middle school and high school, and parent groups. So there'll be a variety, and those will be led by Ed Elements. Myself and Dr. Grosser will be leading the student focus groups next week. And then for the planning team, an interest survey was sent to staff and posted for the school community. There was quite a bit of interest in participating on the planning team. They'll be identified and to begin work in early March. So they'll follow up from what the steering team has done, partner with them, and really start working on the design of the new strategic plan. Hopefully everyone in here has had a chance to complete the survey. Really encourage everyone to do so. We have had quite a few parent responses, which is wonderful, and really encouraged by that, as well as staff responses. Students will be taking the survey at the middle school and high school tomorrow, and then on Thursday at the high school. So we'll have a wide variety of student responses as well, and some community and business participation. So a wide range of perspectives, and I think that's really encouraging. The more people that participate, the more data that we collect and can analyze and use for our plan. So this concludes the update. Thank you for your time this evening.
Any questions?
I had one. For the participation interest survey, I'm really excited that there's lots of interest for the planning team. However, I was just curious, was there a lot of community interest, or was it mainly from the staff and the students?
It was a good mix. It was a very good mix. We don't have enough spots for everyone to participate, so we are inviting some to the focus groups that may or may not participate on the planning team. Try to be inclusive of all of that. Everyone does have the opportunity for the survey, and of course, anyone's welcome to meet with me at any point in time, too.
How many responses so far for the survey?
300.
300? Okay.
I've noticed, I definitely seen the city board, city governing body members pushing it out. I know some of us have pushed it out on social media as well.
Same.
And we appreciate that.
Is there any other support that we can give you in terms of getting the planning survey out there?
I think,
continuing
the
ahead.
more that you can share and talk about it when you run into people and say, hey, it really is a quick survey. Once you just get by who are you affiliated with, which school or which group, and then bam, that third page is just the whole survey's on that page, and then that's really it. So it's something that honestly should take less than 10 minutes to complete.
Okay. All right. And then I did see it myself. Former parents can do it, as well as the whole community, so.
And Dr. Grosser shared with Bell and some of our business contacts directly too.
Fantastic. Anything else?
I'm assuming, are we going to get a chance to see the results, or are we just going to see a summary kind of for the main themes?
They're going to take all the data, so it'll be with the survey as well as with the focus groups, and really make sure that we can all make sense of it and that they pull the major themes out of it. So we may, as the projects team, see all of the results, but as far as what else will be shared, it really will be synthesized from Ed Elements, and then with the steering team and other groups, we will share that as well.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right.
Actually, what? I do have one add-on. Is it possible on the results, because I remember we had a survey, and one of the questions that came up was, will the responses be broken down by category of like staff, parents, just sort of, because I think it was for the calendar that we were trying to figure out, parents, how do parents feel, how do teachers feel?
Right.
So I was just curious if we're going to have that level of detail.
Yes.
Thank you.
So you can pick whether you're community or whether you're parent or alumni or student, whatever it might be. So that's how they'll really dig deep into the data and be able to share that with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kessa.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the 23-24 and 24-25 calendar recommendations. Indeed, an action item this evening.
Pam, is that Buffalo Blue?
All right. Mr. Neff.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. At the November 14th school board meeting, I presented drafts of the 2023-24 and the 2024-25 calendar proposals. At that time, I shared that the draft calendars would be shared with division stakeholders, and a survey would be conducted to gather feedback to share with the board. At the December 12th meeting, that feedback was shared with the board. I present to you tonight the 2023-24 and the 2024-25 calendars for consideration. The following adjustments have been made to the 23-24 calendar based on stakeholder feedback from the survey, as well as your discussion at the board meeting on December 12th. So looking at the 2023-24 calendar, originally new teachers were to report on August 3rd. The current draft is August the 7th. Returning teachers were to report previously on August the 9th. The current date is the 11th, and that is actually a virtual day, a compliance day, where teachers can do all their compliance training for the year in one fell swoop from wherever they'd like to do that, so they don't actually have to report to buildings that day. Parent-teacher conferences. Originally, it was on October the 9th. That has been moved to November 1st to accommodate it being at the end of the first quarter, at the end of it. So October 9th will become a professional day, and that was something that we saw in the survey, that teachers were interested in more professional opportunities. We did add an early release day on October the 27th. That is added so that staff can spend half the day completing grades in preparation for the parent-teacher conferences on the 1st. We also added an early release day on December the 20th, prior to winter break. A professional day on April 1st, it was added to the staff to complete the quarter 3 grades, and we removed the Monday after spring break from the calendar as a day off for staff. The last day of school previously was June the 6th, with it now being June 7th in current draft, and the last teacher workday, which was June the 7th, is now Monday, June the 10th. I can't seem to get the 24-25 calendar to pop up. So do you have that on your
Yeah.
on your devices? Okay. So the
Kara's expert now.
You closed it.
that's why it won't pop up.
There you are.
Thank you, Kara. So the 2024-2025 calendar is also based on the feedback from stakeholders and board discussion at the December meeting. New teachers previously were to report on August the 1st. Current draft is now August the 5th. Returning teachers, August the 7th on the previous draft was their report date. Now it is August 9th, with it being a virtual compliance training day. The parent-teacher conferences were moved from October the 14th to November 1st to accommodate the end of the first quarter. October 14th will now become a professional day. An early release day, which was not in the previous calendar, is now added to December 20th prior to winter break. A teacher workday was in the previous calendar for March the 28th. That was a full day. The full day was removed and made into a half day so that teachers can complete their grades prior to the break. The last day of school, which was June the 6th, is still June the 6th, and the teacher workday is the same from the previous calendar, which is Monday, June the 9th. It's my recommendation that the school board approve the 2023-24 and the 2024-25 academic school year calendars. Madam Chair, this concludes my presentation.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Neff?
Just a comment. So thank you for all your hard work and making the priorities from the community, the administration, and the board reflect in these calendars. As I know it's a tough job, and we had a lot of big asks as well. Still going to say that not having 2 weeks in the 2024 and 2025 for December always seems, that break always seems so short, but I know that in order to meet all the asks from the community, the administration, and from the board, that was kind of a necessary call, so thank you.
That was the one response that I received after I sent it to the principals when I originally, early January, I guess it was, and asked them to send it to their teachers. That was the one response I got. And certainly, if the calendars, the dates felt like they were, that we could do 2 full weeks at winter break like it has in the previous years, that would be fabulous. I'd be all for that. Unfortunately, they don't fall that way this year, and our friends to Prince William, they aren't doing it either. So, and our staff always says we want to be like
Yeah,
Prince William
and
as far as the days
and
being similar. So.
I'm in agreement with that, too.
Yeah.
It's helpful to be similar to our surrounding jurisdictions.
Anything else?
Nope.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for the work. All right, so this is an action item for the board. Can I go ahead and get a motion? We can do the 2 calendars at once.
Motion to approve the 2023, 2024, and 24-25 calendars as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See no opposition, that motion carries. All right, thank you very much. Upcoming meetings, our next budget work session and our superintendent's proposed budget will be here in this room, February 6th at 6:59 PM. Then the next public meeting, regular school board meeting, and public hearing on the fiscal year '23 revised budget and the fiscal year '24 proposed budget, Monday, February 27th, 6:59, here in the board chambers. Any board member comments?
So just to confirm, because we were talking about it earlier, but both of those meetings, even the work session, will be here.
And I think it's because it's the fact that it's the actual presentation, and generally we do have an audience come for the budget presentation.
Cool. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Board member comments? Anyone? No. I just, before we left, thank you to everyone who came tonight, and again, for those who were acknowledged. Regarding the calendar, I understand the desire for 2 weeks on winter break. I understand the desire for a lot of things. I wish, I'll have an unpopular opinion, I wish the state didn't dictate our calendar. I wish that we didn't have to sit there and squeeze out professional development and work days and time for our teachers. I honestly wish we could go back to what was going on during COVID, which was that Monday asynchronous, where we had a whole day to plan with our colleagues, to disaggregate data together, to do all of the things that we needed to do. I wish we weren't hemmed into 195 days. I wish we didn't have to wrap our dates around the neighbors. I hope, I have 10 years left in my professional career as an educator. I truly hope to see us get some more flexibility to think about things differently. Because we need to do what's best for kids, we need to do what's best for teachers, and we need to entice all of our stakeholders and communities to stay with us, whether that's our employees or our students or our families. I think I tried to do the calendar to do all of the things for everyone, and I came up with like 2 pages of highlighted dates and could not fit it in without starting at the beginning of August and ending at the end of June. I marvel at what Mr. Neff brings to us every year. But I also long for a day where we can do the things that are 100% right for us all the time and not necessarily mandated by people who don't live here, don't work here, and have never been in education a day in their lives. With that, I do hope to see some of you come out for the budget process, the budget presentation, the public hearing. Please engage yourselves with that process if you can. If you want to do it with your fuzzy slippers on, we're always on YouTube or Facebook. All right, seeing no further business before us, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I see no opposition to that one, so motion carries. We're adjourned.